Today has been one of the most beautiful days of my entire life. I woke up, looked out of my bedroom window, and my queen of the night, my night blooming orchid cactus, was in full bloom. So I hopped in the shower, came down here. I wanted to record a video about how to get these babies to bloom so that you guys at home can also enjoy these incredible, gorgeous flowers that are also deliciously fragrant. Now this is the Epiphyllum oxypetalum, the queen of the night. And this is a wonderful indoor-outdoor house plant. However, if you're growing it indoors 365 days out of the year, it's going to be very challenging to get them to flower. They really need to be out in the summertime, out during the warmest part of the year in the outdoor environment, the natural environment. But inside the home, I'll bring mine in once my temperatures at night are going to be definitely below that 40 degrees threshold. I'm going to bring it inside and I'm going to put it in a south-facing window. And it's probably not going to grow very much during those, from I would say October, November, December, January, February, March. It's probably not going to grow very much during that time. Oh, look, we have a beautiful little honeybee here to enjoy some of the nectar. But it's going to look beautiful during that time period. And in my southern-facing window inside my house in those cold months, I will water it maybe 2 to 3 times a month. Not a whole heck of a lot, but it's not like going to be some totally zero maintenance, zero watering kind of cactus. And then back in the middle of May is when I brought it. This is a big old pot. I brought it outside, put it outside on my patio, on my deck, and not in the full sun. This is, as a tropical rainforest jungle dweller, it's used to being under the canopy. You can see I have some pretty nice trees up above. So what this gets, it gets some good morning sunlight, but it's kind of a filtered sunlight for the rest of the day. It's a bright environment for sure, but it's not that baking hot sun. And while it's out here, I will water this. Here in Pennsylvania, we get rain, a good amount of rain, probably once a week during the summertime. So I actually don't need to water it that often because Mother Nature is giving it enough rainfall. But if I wasn't getting that watering, that rain once a week, I would definitely be out here watering it, I would say, once every 5 to 7 days, giving it a nice drink of water. It's not a plant that you want to let dry out totally between waterings. I'll show you what my soil looks like right now. You can see it's moist. It's not totally dried out. You don't want it to be too super dry. So how do you tell? Put your finger in there. If you can still feel the moisture, then great. That means you're doing good. But if it gets to that point where it's totally like baked dry, that means you've let it get too dry. And so give it some water. So that's kind of how the watering schedule goes. And then in terms of the fertilizing, okay, so there's going to be a lot of contesting opinions about this, but I'm of the opinion that I like to give all of my house plants, I consider this a house plant because I will bring it inside. It will be a house plant for at least 6 months out of the year. I give all of my house plants a feeding of a well-balanced, high phosphorus kind of fertilizer once a month or once every 3 weeks. I'm generally fertilizing it all year round because I don't let my plants inside the home go dormant like the rest of my plants outside in nature, outside in my garden. I'm not fertilizing my plants outside during that winter time, but my plants that are inside, they're still actively growing to an extent. So I fertilize mine about once a month. I use a fertilizer I think it's a 9-18-9. And it's kind of like a granular fertilizer that I mix with water, and then I just water normally like that. So then, one thing that you can do to continue to get it to grow during that winter time, if you don't want it to just kind of like be super chilled out, put it under a light. Put a plant this size, you might need 2. Put it under an LED light that's about 12 to 15 inches away from the plant, and that's actually going to keep it continuing to grow during that winter time. And so what probably my favorite part about this plant is how easy it is to propagate. This plant, I'm not kidding you, we started this plant. This is a family heirloom that has been recently passed down to me. This plant has been in the family for around 20 years, and it started as a single leaf cutting 20 years ago, and it has grown into this beauty that has created so many more new cuttings. So I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to do. So one thing that you should note, I'll bring you in close again. One thing you should note is that you see the new growth is very nice and leafy and beautiful, upright. But you can see down there, it gets very, very woody. So one thing you should really keep in mind is to keep a nice, healthy looking plant. You can see this plant looks really beautiful because I keep, I am routinely pruning away the old dead wood. Here I can see this, it's been bugging me this whole video. I prune away the old dead wood because for one, it's unsightly, and for two, I don't want to waste any growth. Okay, so back to the propagation. Let's see. Let's pick out a good leaf that is ready to be propagated. Okay, so I have this leaf right here. Now, let's get it in close. Get a little bit closer so we can see. Okay, so this leaf right here, this is about 8 inches long. So when you're picking a leaf, pick a leaf that is around at least 4 inches at the minimum. Better would be 8 inches. Now, okay. So, like I was saying, as the plants grow, they become more and more woody. So this part is pretty woody compared to this part. So I just wanted to show you guys that. I'm not going to keep that part. I'm going to cut that off right here. Now, where'd that fling? Flung somewhere? Oh, okay. Let's get that out. Okay. So now you can do a couple things. You can do a classic water, a dish of water and let it sit in the water for a few weeks while new roots come out the base. Or what I prefer to do is I will let this dry for around 3 days, maybe 4 or 5 days, until it's nice and calloused over. And then what I'm going to do, you can do it 2 ways. You can get a nice fresh pot of soil and put it in that fresh pot of soil. Keep that soil moist, but not super wet. And you can, create a whole new plant. Or what I like to do, because these do get woody at the base, and I think it's natural, of course, it's beautiful as it is, but I like to kind of hide that. So what I will do, I will take this and I will actually plant this along the base. So I take my shears and I just kind of like make a nice little slot for this to get pushed into. And then in terms of how deep, I'm going to do, okay, so I'm going to do about 3 inches deep. Let's just stick it in just like this. Just like that. And so over the next 6 weeks, this is going to create some roots, and then it's going to start to create, new plant life coming out of the sides, underneath the soil. You won't see, it's going to create some, branching, and then new foliage will come out. And that's how you can kind of create a filled out, beautiful look. It's really as easy as that. These can be a little tricky to get to bloom, but the best thing to do if you want to get them to bloom, you need to let it be outside in the summertime. Let it be outside from around, depending on where you live. I'm in zone 6B, so I put mine out, let's just say June 1st. Give it that warm weather. They really need a couple things. They need to have that change in temperatures between the daytime and the nighttime. That is really why in the middle of September is when these buds finally open, because during the day it was experiencing the nice warm weather, and then at the night it cooled down. And there's something about that stress. As we remember from Horticulture 101, flowers are the result of stress. It's the plant's expression that it's trying to survive, so it throws out these flowers for one reason or another, to release seeds, to attract pollinators, whatever. So that change in the temperature from the day to the night induces a certain stress that allows these flowers to open. So really, you got to put it outside in the summertime if you want to get the flowers. And the other thing is you got to be patient. Like I told you, this plant is 20 years old. This is, you know, we grow plants for a lifetime, not for a day. So enjoy the journey, enjoy the planting, enjoy the foliage of this plant, enjoy sharing it with yourself, enjoy sharing it with your friends, with your family, because this really is a plant that continues to give and to give and to give. It's a beautiful plant. It's incredibly intoxicating, and you know, everything about it I love. So if you're looking to add a very special plant, very easy to grow, can be a little tricky to get to bloom at times, but very easy plant to grow inside the house and outside the house. Think about adding the queen of the night, the Epiphyllum oxypetalum, the night blooming orchid cactus. You won't be sad that you added it to your collection. Anyways, I'm Devin Walleen, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was a little bit informative. And I will make sure you watch some of my other videos. I try to really, you know, go through everything that you may need to know about caring for some of our favorite plants, some of my favorite plants. Anyways, I'll catch you later.